Hey everybody. So I was going to set up sitting on the bed and then I changed my mind. So now I've got to move the lights. So pardon my armpits all in the way here. But I've got to move where the lights are so that you can see me. Hopefully you can see me. Hopefully you can see me. Hopefully you joined me. Hopefully you're on here. Podcast time. All right. Hopefully you can see me. I'm pretty much tired, so I just want to let you know. So I logged into my other account to see if it would give me a notification, and it did not. Which sucks. So, easier moderation, press Alt to pause the chat, then point. Okay, I don't care about that. So, hey everybody who's joined me. I'm popping the chat out. I'm making it bigger, which really doesn't do anything, unfortunately. And I want it to be, okay. So, hold on. I'm doing a couple of little things here. Give me a second. There we go. I was trying to make my chat box bigger so I can read you guys' comments. There's a little bug in here with me, and for real, I'm not having it. Really, I'm not. There we go. Now it's nice and big. Huge. All right, so I've got the computer on this side. I've got the cell phone over here filming. Hopefully you guys can hear me. If y'all can't hear me with this big A headphones and microphone, then you have a problem on your end, because there's no way the problem is on my end, okay? No freaking way that the problem is on my end. I'm just saying. Hello everybody that's signing on. Hello to my mod, Miss M. How are you? You always come sign on. Hey, Kathy, Gloria, Tanisha. Is it Tanisha? Alicia. Hey, it's Doug and Buddy. I have little fruit flies in here and they won't go away. Heat Sicker. You should be able to hear me very well. There's no way you can't hear me with this freaking headphones on. I'm actually going to take it off of one ear. Actually, I could take it off both ears because you're not talking to me. I'm talking to you. So, hey, Emmy. Emmy's watching the podcast. Hi, Emmy. Hi, sweetie. Is my Junie watching? Oh, no, it's past her bedtime. Oh, no, it's only 8 o'clock. Hi, Emmy. Oh, Doug wants to know how, because I have to remember that Buddy is the four legs, right? Doug is the man. The water pump is working great, but the problem is it lets too much water through, way too much water. So I'm wasting water. So I had also bought at Harbor Freight the squeeze pump, and I'm going to make a foot pump out of that because I think that's better suited for my needs. I just feel like I'm wasting so much water when that thing comes on, but it is an awesome, freaking awesome pump. If I can figure out a way to slow down the rate of water pumping out of that bad boy, then I would be golden, but it just wastes so much water. So other than that, oh, Christina, thank you so much. Hey, Fly from Cali. Can't hear you as well now. You can't hear me as well? Stop playing. You have got to be playing Nails by Jordan. Ain't no way. Me taking that off of my ears, come on. There's no way you can't hear me. These headphones, let me turn the volume up. The volume's all the way up. Oh, my Junie B is watching. The volume lowered when I took it off my ears? Are you freaking kidding me? How's that even possible? Oh my gosh. Okay, my head is getting hot. All right, is that better really, y'all? Or y'all playing with me? Really? How's that? Did the volume lower now? Is it higher now? Is the volume higher? Seriously? I think y'all playing with me. I really do. Well, all I can say is I hope that everybody will go back real quick and hit the thumbs up because we only have 7 thumbs up and 44 people watching. So that would really, really help me if you put the thumbs up. Also, someone mentioned to me that I forgot that I have stopped giving reminders on how to help me with monetization of the videos on your end if you're only going to be watching. Watch the commercials, watch the ads. If the ad is a long ad, play my video on mute on some other device so that the ads play all the way through so that I get the full monetization because YouTube is really jacking what the sisters pay. Now, that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, let's get on to the podcast. I took notes. Haha. I did what I meant to be doing on all the podcasts and all the book clubs and never do. I took notes. So, hands emoji if you listened to the podcast. And I have to drink. I'm drinking this, in case you want to know. I got it from Walmart. We are actually parked at a Walmart. Remember, Miss V is traveling with me. So when I say we, I mean me and Miss V. She has become my shadow. My shadow. And she said she would be. So, Miss V, are you on the line? Give me a little hand emoji or something so I know you're here. Otherwise, I guess you went to sleep early. Hey, Scorpion November. How are you, sis? Okay. So we've got 2 people. Hey, Lou. 2 people. It's higher when I have the headphones on because the mic is closer to my mouth. Yeah. Okay. You watched my Aldi's haul. Okay, this is not a free chat, guys. We're really just trying to get down to this podcast. After 20 minutes of podcast talk, then I will give you about 10 or 15 minutes of free chat, and then I'm getting off of this live feed. All right, so the podcast was Ear Hustle. We have switched from Snap Judgment to Ear Hustle. And please don't stop listening to Ear Hustle, though, if you're looking for a good podcast. Please, please, please listen to Ear Hustle because Ear Hustle is an excellent podcast. I was just ready to move on to something else, and the podcast may change every 6 months or so. So anyway, this was the Ear Hustle podcast, and we listened to number 7. I accidentally skipped one of the ones I wanted to listen to, so we're probably going to go back and listen to that one for next month. And this one was titled Unwritten, and it was basically about the races, meaning skin color race or ethnicity race, in the prison system in San Quentin prison, because this podcast is based out of San Quentin prison. And I know I had one CVanner fanner member tell me that she could not listen to this podcast while we were doing the Ear Hustle because she recently had a son go to prison. Not this prison, but prison, and it was too difficult for her to listen to. And I get that and I understand. So I have a variety of videos so she does not have to log in to listen to this one. So I get that. If this is too difficult for you to listen to, if this is too difficult, if the touch is too close to home, please, for now, forgo the podcasts and listen to the book club. Listen to Snap Judgment instead of listening to Ear Hustle, and just don't log on to the lives for podcasts and all that jazz. Hey, Viking Van Man. Well, these stories are very well done. There's nothing really super negative in the ones that I've heard so far, and I've listened to all 3 seasons so far. There are some that I will skip that are just not, anything that I think we should talk about as a group. But it's a really good podcast. It's a really don't knock it till you try it. Try listening to it, Mr. G. Oh, you did say you ended up enjoying it. Good. I'm glad. Please go back and listen to all the first 6 of these podcasts because they're really, really good. Erlon and Nigel do a great job hosting this podcast. So again, number 7, Ear Hustle Unwritten. So basically they were talking about the races in prison and how it works at San Quentin, because this podcast is based out of San Quentin. So everything pretty much has to do with San Quentin. So the first person they talked to was Drew, and he's like the party planner there in San Quentin. And he has to plan parties according to race because it's very, very racially segregated in San Quentin prison. And the whites are the minority, and Drew is a white man, and he's a really good party planner. I guess he learned it from his mom. He said she was a big on holidays and celebrations in their family. So he got that from her. So he has to plan parties according to race. So there are 2 different. The main difference is the whites do something that he called sex play, which they like their parties to have decorations to be like condoms and towels folded into a man's privates. I can't say too much because I don't want my video dinged. And they tell sometimes inappropriate jokes about sex. And when they're in the showers, they slap each other on the behind. And that is something that the two um, black guys that they talk to totally have nothing to do with that. They say that that's mostly the white guys that do that. So when he plans their party, they use a lot of muscle magazines, um, condoms, and he folds the towels up to look like a man's private. So that's what their parties look like when he plans a party for one of the white guys' birthdays. For the black guys, he tends to do more rap magazines of rappers or cutouts of rappers, rap guys. He has his cellmate. Drew's cellmate is a black guy, and I forgot to write his name down, and I didn't realize I didn't write it down until later. But they have become best friends. The black guy, he sells that they're cellies. They're called cellies. Their very first episode on this Ear Hustle podcast is called Cellies. It explains the cell situation, cellmates. Please listen to it. It's very good. So basically, there's a politics around the races. Everything. You can't do anything with another race. It's more laxed in San Quentin, but in most prisons, you could get seriously hurt intermixing and having a friend of another race. So the whites stay with the whites, the blacks stay with the blacks, the Hispanics stay with the Hispanics, the Asian and excuse me, Island Pacificers stay together, and then there's a group for other, where a lot of people fall into that category if they don't, because you have to claim a race when you first get into prison, and that follows you no matter what prison they send you to. That follows you, and you are there with it for your whole prison career term, whatever. So as far as food goes, you may exchange food with a different race, but it has to be sealed, fresh, brand new in the package. And then, like, if I'm white, like I'm black, I'm in prison and I'm cooking, and a white person or Asian person or Hispanic person gives me food or spices sealed, I can use them in my cooking, and the other black people will still eat it. Anything unsealed given to me, that's a big no-no. You just don't do that because it's tainted. They think you might be trying to kill them. You'll get in trouble for using it and then trying to feed it to other people. So yeah, you don't do that. So they interviewed Lonnie, a gentleman who'd been in the prison since the 80s, and he said back then that the blacks were the minority. They were only the 20%, whereas now it's the whites that are the 20%. And there were also no black police officers in the prison at that time, and there were way more stabbings related to race. Currently, there have been no stabbings in San Quentin. I think they said 20, 30 years at least has been no stabbings. San Quentin is like basically the prison to go to if you are in California. Everybody wants to go there. When Drew, the gentleman I was talking about who's the party planner, first got to San Quentin, he grew up in an area with a lot of black people. He listened to a lot of rap music. He liked that lifestyle, that culture. So he had a tattoo on his leg of Eazy-E, who's a rapper, a gangster rapper from way back in the day. The whites told him that he had to either remove it or his life would most likely be in danger. Like, he would be beat up, basically. Probably not killed, but he would be beat up on a regular basis, probably. Lonnie, the older gentleman who had been in San Quentin since the 80s, said that that's very different than what would have happened back in the day, because back in the day, they would have just cut the tattoo off his leg and let him bleed to death. So very, very different situation from 80s prison and earlier to now. So I said we have to choose. So Wayne, another older gentleman, he made the mistake in a prison before coming to San Quentin. No, while in San Quentin, he first got there. The yard is divided up. The yard, which is where they go outside, is divided up into races. So the blacks have this turf, the whites have this turf, the Asian and Island Pacificers, and the Hispanics, and then there's a small section for the others. And I'll get to the others in a second. And I guess Wayne was brand new to the prison, and he made the mistake of wandering into the Hispanic section, like over the line. And he said one of the Hispanic guys came up to him and asked him, excuse me, you're in the wrong section. You need to leave. You need to go over there, and pointed to where the whites were. Had that been, again, back in the day, they probably would have just beat him up or, shanked him, stabbed him, whatever. Showers are also racially divided because you're very, very vulnerable in the shower, so you stay with your race. You shower with your race. So the whites shower together, the blacks shower together, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because you're very vulnerable. All you have is a towel, your shower bag, and some shower shoes. So you're very vulnerable if something were to go down. Again, they said there's been no race riots in over 20 to 30 years. I'm sorry, the stabbings was not the 20 to 30 years. It was the race riot. So no race riots for 20 to 30 years. But they did say there hadn't been, the gentleman Erlon who hosts this has been in that prison for like 22 years and he has not heard of a stabbing. So it's been at least that long since a stabbing. And the race divide is very much old school, but the rules are there. And so they just never change them and it just stays that way. They also talked about those others, and they call them the L7s because if you take the L, you take the 7, you put it together, it's a square. So they're the squares. So they're the nerds. And the nerds, the others are all races. You can claim that if you want. If you want to claim an other when you get into prison, you can. And that's pretty much a melting pot of the gays, the transgendered, the nerds. They all kind of claim that so that they don't have to choose a race, an actual ethnic race. That way, they kind of stick together. So in San Quentin's, the L7s are the nerds. They are the ones that play the fantasy board games, Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons. They like comics, they like superheroes, you know, all that. So they tend to be all races meshed together. Now, there are times when the races integrate, and that is jobs. The jobs are integrated. When you go to work, they don't put all the blacks working at this. But when you go to eat, you definitely sit with your race. But in despite of all that, friendships flourish, friendships happen, and people learn to live and understand. And some people who would never talk to somebody of another race end up doing so in prison. It's a small area, and you have to at some point interact with other people. Now, for those of you that listen to the podcast, what did you think of it? Give me your comments. Let's discuss it. I want to hear from you guys. So that was just a very short snippet of my notes, and that's all that I have. So I'm ready for you guys to tell me what you thought of the podcast. And if you didn't listen to the podcast, please go back after the video and listen to it. It's really short. It's a really short podcast. Really, really short. All right. So I think we had about 4 or 5 people that said that they listened to it. So I'm waiting. Thank you, Miss M, for throwing that up. Mr. G says that he would be a nerd for sure. I think I would claim other too, Mr. G, because honestly, if I were to claim the blacks, from what they were saying, is if one black person has an issue and they want to start something with the whites, you have to prove that you are down with your race and go and get in trouble to hold down for your race. So I'm like, nah, I'm gonna be a nerd. I'm gonna learn how to play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm gonna learn how to play Magic the Gathering. I'm gonna learn. Yes, put me in other. Put me in other. Hey, mama's boys. The newest one is about, okay, yeah, I don't want to talk about another podcast. We're only talking about this podcast. Crystal with a K says, thank God I never went to or ever go to jail. I don't need that stupidity. But Crystal, if you think about it, America is like this. It may not be to this degree of separation, but America is definitely like this. We see this in America today. We see it. I'm sorry. We see it. Everyone can turn a blind eye all they want and say they don't see color all they want, but I don't want to get into details of it because I don't want to argue with people's belief systems. But it's there. It's not this detailed, but it's there. Anyway, would you guys, who else wants to comment on this podcast? Miss M is going to be awesome. Miss M is going to be other too. All right, nerds stick together. Scorpion says, I think the podcast reiterated a lot of what I already heard and seen in documentaries, sorry. Yes, definitely. Tanisha says I'm a nerd even in these streets. That's right. Yes, that's what I said, that they claimed for safety because there are safety in numbers, and if you it's kind of like being in a gang almost. They're gonna hold you down because you claim that set. You know what I'm saying? So Pam is gonna be in the other crew. Hey Tom, how are you? Hope you heard the podcast. Why do I keep saying read? Even in book club, I say read, even though that's a podcast too. I hope you guys are enjoying the LeVar Burton podcasts. Please check. I think I have this month's up. Let me check right now while I have the computer going. I think I have. Let me go to my website. I was just surprised about the parties, though. I was surprised about the parties as well. I mean, I figured that they celebrated each other's birthdays because I figured that they made friends there. Um, uh-oh, that's not the website. There we go. That's the one we want. I figured they celebrated birthdays and holidays and stuff like that, but yeah, I don't know. Okay, book club. Our next book for the book club for this month is episode 2 of the LeVar Burton podcast. It's called The Lighthouse Keeper by Daisy Johnson. And you guys know how much I love me some LeVar Burton reading to me. So by all means, definitely make sure, and I'm going to paste it in there. Although, oh, Miss M beat me to it. Miss M, you are on the ball, girl. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. G, for liking my headset. Mama's Boy says the irony is there's no loyalty amongst thieves. I have been listening to this podcast since I found it, and I'm on the 3rd season, which is the current season. And you would be surprised how well functioning San Quentin prison is. As a matter of fact, I plan on emailing Erlon and Nigel, or the Ear Hustle hosts, because when I go out to the West Coast, I want to go there and I want to visit him. So I want to sign up to be on his visitor list. I have never visited anyone in prison before. Let me just preface that. Not even my uncle who went to prison. But I really want to email him, and I want to see him and just tell him how much I appreciate their podcast, how much I appreciate them opening up this life to those of us that have no clue about it, and how honest they are when they are interviewing people, and the minutia things that I never knew about prison. And I also want to sign up to have maybe 2 or 3 pen pals through through that prison, and maybe write some guys that don't get letters from family, because that was one of the episodes I listened to. Was they did a Q&A. They answered some questions from people that had sent questions to them. And one of the ones was someone saying that she didn't want to write her cousin who went to prison recently because she didn't want to make him feel bad telling him about her life on the outside, that might make him more sad about being in prison. And Erline was saying, no, they live for that. They live for that. They take their time reading letters. They make a cup of coffee. They sit back. They read them 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 times, because that means a lot to them to get letters. And they want to hear about the things that are going on at home, the Monday things that we don't care about or think about. They want to hear that because there's nothing for them to do. Whereas San Quentin does have a lot of programs there, a lot of ways for people to better themselves in San Quentin. Not all prisons do. Anyway, Kathy's RV Life says my nephew lives there. When he comes home, we always call it him being on vacation. Oh Lord, okay. Oh my. Oh, Mama's Boys. Yes, I do understand why you mentioned the new one, because I listened to it actually a couple of days ago, so I do know why you mentioned it, and it does have a lot to do with this episode, but we'll get to that one much later in the as we go on. Mr. G says prisons maintain a hyper radical divide, and that's unfortunate. That is true. Mr. G says, I live in California and I don't even know where San Quentin is. It's in the Bay Area. So it is in the Bay Area. San Quentin is in the Bay Area. So Mr. G, go. You live in California, go. Go volunteer. Go do something. Go write a letter, something. Tanisha says, you helped me in ganging by opening doors in my mind for balance. I don't quite know what you said. Maybe retype it. I don't know what that meant. Mama's Boy says you also might want to talk to someone who has done it before you, because never forget they are criminals and they can be very slick, for lack of better words. Um, I'm not gonna go there, Mama's Boys. I get what you're saying. I do. I get what you're saying, but yeah, I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna put my mind in that negative space at this point in time. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, I'm just not gonna do that. But I get what you're saying. Um, anyway, so back to comments about the actual podcast, because we've been on for 25 minutes and this was only supposed to be 20. So, does anyone have anything they want to say about this actual podcast that actually listened to the podcast? Any comments you want to make? Anything you just want to say, maybe struck you, educated you, whatever? Let's get back on topic. And then I'll give you 10 minutes of just random chat, although we've already done our 10 minutes of random chat. Yep. I get it. Awesome. I'm glad you liked it. There's not much to like about this whole podcast. I've been fortunate to pick some really good podcasts, and I will be doing, hopefully soon. I don't know if I'll do it while I'm traveling in October. Maybe next month I'll do it, but I'll try and do it this month. I'm going to be doing a whole couple of videos on my favorite podcasts and why I like them. And I'll just be reading a short little bio about the podcast so you guys can have a list to put in your arsenal of podcasts. It is very eye-opening. I don't know where all the fruit flies just came from. Like, all of a sudden, I've got little teeny fruit flies. Yes, you definitely don't take your freedom for granted. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Let's see. I'm going to go back up. In Scorpio November, you said you listened to it. I would like to hear from you. Who else? Mr. G, what else do you have to say about it before we keep it moving? Tom says a van is bigger than a cell. Probably about the same size, maybe, depending on depending on the van. Well, I can live in my van, so obviously. All right. I don't understand. But it just happened as soon as I put the video on. I have been laying here for hours now with no fruit flies. As soon as I put the video on, it's like, oh, she's on a video. Let's go. Get in her face. I don't understand where they were hiding. Where were they this whole time? I've been laying in here watching Netflix and then listened again to the podcast. So I don't understand. Yes, they talked about how he cooks, how they get the supplies for the party. So they have to be creative, like I said, with getting the supplies. You can barter supplies, but they have to be unopened and sealed. And sometimes you can maybe barter from the kitchen to get spices and stuff, and they can buy it from the canteen as well. Tanisha said life balance by the so-called good and bad, just a piece like a crystal shell we can't find or buy, etc. Yes. I don't have much to add other than what I already did. Okay. So I'll give you guys 10 minutes to do what you want to do as far as asking for anything that doesn't have anything to do with this podcast. I would like to one more time ask for everybody to put a thumbs up, because I only have 36 of them and there are 82 of you watching. So if you don't mind, even if that means jumping off real quick and thumbs up and coming right back, I'm not going to go anywhere for the next 15 minutes. So please, please, please do that, because it helps me. I appreciate it. Mama's Boy says she likes Drew's creativity. He was very creative. He seemed like a very sweet little young man. I say young man because, I'm older than him. Not much, but I think he said he was 30 something. It's okay, Scorpion. I just want to make sure I gave you an opportunity to say anything you wanted to say. Thank you, Mama's Boy, for doing a thumbs up. A lot of people do it before they jump on, but then some people don't do it and they forget to go back and do it before I jump off. And it works better if you do it while I'm actually on the live instead of later when you're watching it back later or after I jump off. It's okay. No biggie. If you're on the cell phone and you're watching it like this, just turn your thing like this and you should have the thumbs up at the bottom, and just click it for me real quick. Mr. G says, I often rent to ex-prisoners. I know it's hard to re-enter normal society. Okay, that's cool, Mr. G. That is very, very, very awesome. There is a picture of the podcast moderators online. You are right. There is. Nigel is a female, and I assume from her voice that she is white. I think I've seen her picture before. So yes, she is white, and she's a she was a visual artist. I guess she did stuff with regular video media, and now she's moved on to podcasting, helping Erlon, who is the actual prisoner. So yeah. Anyway, all right. Any questions for me? Any random stuff you want to chat about? Any whatever? Anybody want to know where I am? Anybody want to know what I'm doing? I mean, I could just tell you, but I don't want to talk about stuff that nobody wants to hear about. Just saying. The batteries are at 12.1, as you can see. I've got my fan plugged in back here behind me, so it's on very low. It's cooling off, so I don't think I'm going to need to sleep with it. I am not still in West Virginia. We stayed in West Virginia for just the one night. We are slowly making our way to Ohio. And we are actually probably about 200 miles still from Ohio. And I can't find that out because I'm on the cell phone filming this. So, but I think we are on the very edge of Maryland, I think. The very edge of Maryland, which is weird. But we are taking our time. Very much taking our time because we will not be back in Arizona until the 27th or 29th, I believe it is, because my tags die at the end of this month. So I have to be back there in order to get to the DMV and register my car in Arizona. But you will see my calendar, or I will, either me or Miss M will jump in real before I do and give it to you. But I will post the calendar link. Please go to CrystalVanner.com because that's where everything that you need to know about what I'm doing is there. It is all there. No, that is the wrong thing. I did not mean to put the podcast. Well, why did it not do the calendar? Calendar. Huh? What the frick? That's not my calendar. Why is it showing the LeVar Burton podcast as my calendar? Why? All right, just go to crystalvanner.com, guys. I don't know what's going on with that. I'll have to check my website tomorrow. It's just one person traveling with me right now. And that's Miss V. And Brother Tom was supposed to be traveling with us, but he had some mechanical issues, and he's going to try and meet us in Ohio on the 10th, because that's when we're due to be in Ohio, is the 10th. So I have more than enough time to get to Ohio. I gave myself like 4 to 5 days to get to every stop so I could really take my time, because that's how I prefer to travel. I don't know exactly where in Maryland I am right now, so I couldn't even tell you. Oh, yes, I can, because I can use my other Wi-Fi only iPhone. And if you guys will give me a minute, I can look it up and I can tell you where I am, where I is. I don't know why it's not charging though. It ought to be. Okay. Let me pull up my maps. Where's my maps? I don't like iPhones. Tom says, visit your relative in prison. He is out of prison now. So I do not need to visit him in prison. He is out of prison. He is in Virginia, and I'm not going back to Virginia right now. So I will see him maybe next year if he stays out of prison long enough. So there's that. All right. I want to tell you guys exactly, hopefully exactly where I am. It's still trying to find me. Will a Wi-Fi only phone find you? Maybe it won't. Maybe I need my real phone. I'll call Ms. V and tell her to open her GPS. She's probably asleep though. Ms. V, are you on the line? I am traveling in a caravan, me and one other person, so it's not a huge caravan. Mama's Boy is going to DC to the African American Museum. I have not been to the African American Museum yet. Maybe I'll try and get there next year while I am back in Virginia. And I guess a Wi-Fi only phone cannot find where you are. So I guess no. I guess I won't be finding out where I am because it's just spinning like I can't find you. And it has plenty of bars on the Wi-Fi. So anyway, I guess I don't know where I am. Nothing's going on in Ohio. I am going. Hey, Miss V, can you please go on your phone, one of your phones, and open up the GPS and just see where we are. We don't need the address. I just need to know, are we still in Maryland and how close we are to the border, please. Thank you, Miss V. She's such a sweetie. Someone wants to know, oh, please don't just jump off. Please don't drive and listen to the chat. Oh, please don't have an accident for that. You can come back later and listen to it. I'm going to be getting off soon. Oh, we are in West Virginia. Oh, we went back to West Virginia. That's right. We went from West Virginia, from one edge of West Virginia through Maryland, and that's right. We came back to West Virginia. I don't know how that happens, but we did. So yes, we are still in West Virginia. All right, we are in Morgantown, West Virginia. Thank you so very much. No, Miss M, thank you so much for posting the links. I appreciate it. I love it that you jump on just to do that for me. And I know you have things to do and you have to go, so I appreciate it. Tom says you have gone high tech since the first video I watched. I've learned more. I'm not necessarily high tech because I still don't have a camera. I'm still shooting on my cell phone. I just happen to have a laptop now, and the headphones is just the headphones. That's all. Brooklyn wants to know, have you ever visited Texas and would I live there? I have visited Texas. I would not live there. Not me. Latoya says, I know you don't care much for Oprah, but she did an extraordinary interview with Anthony Ray Hinton, a wrongly convicted death row inmate. Powerful story, Super Soul Conversation podcast. Okay, I will try and listen to that, but no, I'm not an Oprah fan. Thank you for knowing that. Good night, Miss M. I love you so much. Plans over the next week. We are slowly moving to Arizona. Go to crystalvanner.com and you will see the exact stops we're making and where we're stopping. So if I'm stopping anywhere near you, please, 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 please come and see me. I don't require you to tell me that you're coming, but whatever. I will be in Columbus, Ohio on the 10th. So yes, if you are near Columbus, Ohio, probably tomorrow I will be posting the exact address. We're probably going to meet at a Starbucks or a public library. Those are the two places I tend to go to. Prefer Starbucks because you can talk there. Sometimes the public libraries don't have little meeting rooms that I can book, so it's hard to have a conversation. The weather's still nice out. We could always meet at a park, but I still want to be able to conversate and talk to people. So I'm thinking in Ohio we're going to go to an actual Starbucks. So I'm trying to read the I know I keep looking over here. I'm trying to read the computer comments here, and then I know I should be looking up here because you guys are here. Oh, Anthony, you are in Columbus? All right, then I expect to see you on the 10th. The 10th is, what day of the week is that? Today's the 6th, and it's a Saturday. 7th is Sunday, 8th, 9th, 10th. I think it's like 7 p.m., so it's in the evening. Yeah, it's like 7 p.m. If I do anything on a weekday, I usually do it around 7 p.m. Mahadi, thank you so much. Tom says thermocell lantern for mosquitoes is bad A. Use it tonight in Chattanooga. Oh, okay. But I don't have mosquitoes. They're little fruit flies. I wonder if it'll take care of those as well. The 10th is Tuesday. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Isn't that Wednesday? Today's Saturday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think that's Wednesday, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you, Miss V. Wednesday, October 10th, Columbus, Ohio. Yeah, I haven't got an address yet, but tomorrow I will probably be pulling out the map and picking up an address. So yeah, and it'll be around 7 p.m. But just go to crystalvanner.com and you'll see, if you look on the 10th, you'll see it'll say Columbus, Ohio meetup. When you click on it, it'll open up into a bigger box and it'll have the location, the time, all that. So look for that tomorrow. Probably tomorrow evening is when I'll do it. I'll try and do it in the morning. It just depends on if I remember. I know that's so sad. Please forgive me. Anyway, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Last chance because I'm about to jump off of this live. Mama's boys want to know how was Georgia. Georgia was nice. We stayed in Georgia for, I think it was 10 days. So it was nice. We celebrated Miss V's birthday there. And I did meet a couple of Vanner fanners, and there were a couple that I couldn't get with. One who wanted to meet me and reached out to me, and I gave her dates and times and even an address and never heard back from. So I don't know if something happened and it was, maybe a family emergency. I don't know. So yeah, it is what it is. But Georgia was fine. The wedding reception that I went to was awesome. I haven't partied like that in a long time. That would have been a good night to do a Freaky Friday because I was toe up. Luckily, we were able to park in the parking lot where the wedding reception was, so I did not drive anywhere, which is why I got toe up. But I had not been that toe up in a long time. Even in the Freaky Friday, it doesn't even compare to those of you who have seen me toe up on a Freaky Friday. That wedding reception didn't compare to that. I was beyond. Don't forget, we do have Freaky Friday next Friday. This Friday, actually. This coming Friday. That's right, because today's Saturday. So this coming Friday is Freaky Friday. It's at 8 p.m. It's a live, and you either there or you don't get to see it. I do not save it. You will never get to see it again. Only I can see it because it's on private, and I can go back and watch it to my leisure. But there will be no links. There will be no hints. This Friday, 8 p.m., bring your adult beverage. If you don't drink, bring your water, your orange juice, your apple juice, whatever it is you want to drink, your soda. And we drink and we talk about everything. Happy birthday, Miss V. And we talk about everything, all adult conversation. I don't get paid for that video. And last week's was 3 hours and some change long. That is one video that I will not try and cut short. We just talk until I'm done talking. Anyway, I love you guys. Thanks for watching, as always. And look for your next video on Tuesday. I got a review video coming up this week, and I think you're going to love it, especially those that are van dwellers or thinking about being van dwellers. It's a hot spot device. It's what I used right now to power all this going on here for the video. All right. I love you guys so much. Mwah! Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to check us out on Patreon as well.